There he is right there. Rick, how are you, pal?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Listen, that was a great clip. You guys must have had a heck of a good time out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always a great event that we can put on. And I'll have to beg to differ with you on your assessment of New Mexico. It's not flat.
Oh, no, that's right. You have, I beg your pardon. That course is flat, though.
Actually, where Towle was, it was pretty hilly, and I don't know if you saw, there's a lot of sage, but a lot of guys had carts, and they needed them. You know, that course kind of went up and around in a circle, in a mile circle, and there's a pretty good grade from where you start at the clubhouse to where you end up at the back of the course.
Well, okay.
Unfortunately, it's not in existence anymore, but like Del Norte Gun Club, it's kind of set up on the high mesa west of town here, and it's got some decent up and down areas too, but you're not continually going up and down. I mean, you kind of work down and you stay there for a while, and then you work up to the next station. So
okay,
yeah,
all right. Well,
James, even you could do it.
Thanks. Okay. Now, so are you doing any more of these events, Rick, where you're in charge and you're the range master and doing all that?
Well, actually, this weekend I'm not going to be in charge of an event, but we're having a little shotgun clinic out at Del Norte Gun Club. We're trying to get people interested in shooting, and there's a lot of guys who shoot out there that are having problems, so we're trying to help them as club members. As being in charge of an event, I kind of took a hiatus after doing a couple of those things, because you have to understand, here in New Mexico, basically every sporting clays course is a club type situation where they don't have a bunch of employees. Like if you go to, American Shooting Center or Cajun Elite, they've got staff that actually does work. Okay, so when I take on, if somebody says, "Hey Rick, you want to come up and set the targets at the state shoot?" I say, "Yeah." But guess what? I set the targets. I'm hauling traps and I'm loading birds and designing the courses, and it's very labor intensive here. A lot of the good target setters in the nation, like Mike McAlpine and Mo Parsons, and these gentlemen have it well, because they have a staff that they can work with. They can stand at a cage, look, say, put that trap there, cant it this way, tilt it up, put a little more spring on it, throw me a couple birds, great. That's how they set the course. I set the course with leather gloves and bloody knees and, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very true, though. You're making a good point there that a lot of people don't understand just how difficult it is. And there's guys out there like Doc Bradford who opened up a course, and I'm sure that he found out that it was a lot more work than he thought. And you and I have been all over the country, you more than I. And the course setters themselves, they don't bring a lot of attention to themselves, but once you do something like like you just did, you go, whoa, do I want to do this?
Especially when you do it for free. So, yeah, the reason I did it was because most of the guys in New Mexico don't travel like I do. So, and a lot of the clubs and places around New Mexico, they're not really up to snuff when it comes to target presentations and what sporting clays is all about. So I've had some exposure being around the world, shot in England, and I've shot a lot of competitive targets. So I wanted to bring some competitive targets and entertaining targets to them. So that was my impetus for doing it at first, was I want to show these guys what they're missing, and show them what a real course looks like and what a real tournament is.
Yeah, and I admit, and I said it earlier, that I don't think of New Mexico as a destination for sporting clays. However, I think, and it is, isn't it? Isn't it?
I wouldn't say it is. No, I mean we have about 150 registered NSCA members, and you compare that to a state like Texas, who has close to 2,000.
Right.
And you can go to a shoot in Texas, a major shoot in Texas, and every shoot is major.
Right.
The best shooters are in Texas.
Right.
The most active shooters are in Texas.
Right.
And you can go to a shoot every weekend that has 100 or more competitors.
Right. Now,
here, it's not. We don't have it happening.
Well, the flip side of that, Rick, and before we get to the Browning Briley, and I know that you went, but the flip side of that is that for people like myself, for instance, who are not on the level of competition that you are, we can go to a range in New Mexico. We can get, we're not crowded around a lot of people who are somewhat intimidating because they are such good shots, and we can spend time with guys like you, perhaps, at the club and get a little instruction on a personal basis.
Absolutely.
And I like the smaller clubs. I really do. And I'm a Texas guy, and I've been to the big ones like you have. But going to the smaller clubs gives you time to center on your way of shooting. And if you get a little instruction from a guy like you, then you go on to the big clubs. Hey, I'm very much in favor of that. So I'm looking forward to coming down there. Now, look, I know you went out to Browning Briley.
The invite's always open, you know that.
Thank you, Rick. Does that include dinner at the restaurant?
I kind of work out a package, yeah, a good Italian meal and some good instruction and some good targets.
Okay, now I know you sent us some pictures of the Browning Briley, so we're going to run a few pictures while we talk, okay? Now,
For sure, hope you enjoyed them.
It looked like it might have been a little muddied out there.
Yeah, I don't know if you're looking at that picture of the golf cart, but that was Lynn's golf cart, and Mo Parsons used it to set feet task, and it was a little muddy. It was moist, but the deal was when we were there for the shoot, perfect. The weather couldn't have been better. It was the best weather I've had all year for shooting. Cool in the mornings. By the afternoons, it was short sleeves. Which we haven't had in Albuquerque yet until today. It's beautiful. But what they were telling me is they didn't have a stretch for basically all winter where it didn't rain for a couple of days. It just rained continually down there. So, and it showed it. It was moist. There was water. You needed some boots.
Yeah. It's absolutely great pictures that you took there as well. And I'm looking at the scores here, and I'm going, hey, Rick, you were only a few birds off the top here.
Hey, you know what? I was very happy with the way I shot, considering, it's been snowing here. Haven't been able to shoot too much. Haven't really got out. I got out a couple of weekends before the Browning Briley and shot a few targets, and that was all I did before I went there. And, I was happy. I was right there in just about everything. I was hanging around 90. I'm obviously not on the top of my game, but, top 10, 15, top 25, I think.
Hey,
I was happy.
Sure, you should be very proud. I mean, you're right up there with all the guys that we all recognize, and you shot very well. Certainly our congratulations go out to Bobby Fowler. We haven't seen him up there in the 190s in a while, and it looks like Bobby's back.
Well, I tell you what, if that's any indication, he sure is. The targets were challenging. They were challenging targets, so he's got to be proud.
Yeah, well, when Lynn does anything down there, you may be shooting out over a swamp, but don't get distracted because there's some tough targets out there. Oh
yeah, they didn't let up on you too much, but the targets overall were very well set. There was something for everybody, and they didn't beat you up too bad.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Rick, I appreciate you taking time from the restaurant. I know you're there now. That's probably your office you're sitting in. I appreciate you taking, it's lunchtime out here. And so thank you for coming on, and we look forward to some more photographs in the future and having you come back on the show.
Thanks for having me. Anytime I can help you and be an addition to the show, I'd love it.
Okay. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. Okay, bye-bye.